Hey guys, Bobby Hughes here with Point Firearms, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about ammo reloading. Alright, so I'm calling this video Ammo Reloading 101, and basically it's just going to be a little introduction to reloading, and it's mainly focused around people who aren't already reloading, who have considered it, and they just need a little bit more information on whether or not that they should start reloading. Start off by saying that it's, in my opinion, I think everyone that shoots should reload. Maybe you don't need a setup as big or as extensive as mine or some other people's, but I think that it's definitely a good skill to have in order to be self-reliant and in order to be able to, fulfill that whole part or accomplish everything there is to as far as being self-reliant shooting. It is a little bit pricey to get into, there's no doubt about that. But it also, over time, depending on how many rounds you shoot and things like that, over time, definitely pays for itself. Just for an example, reloading rifle ammunition, all right, 223 rounds. Average price of a 223 round comes out to be about 50 cents a piece, and that's for decent, 223 ammo. Reloaded, even after my powder primer and all the time invested in it and everything, I'm down to about 15 cents a piece. All right, so you can see that's a substantial savings. That's over half the cost, and the benefits of it, just knowing that that's ammo that you loaded, it just gives you that sense of fulfillment or whatever. But I kind of want to answer some questions that might be out there for the person thinking about reloading and new to reloading. So in this video, what we're going to do is go over both handgun reloading and rifle reloading. And we'll start with the handgun reloading, and I'm going to show you guys some of the basic equipment that you're going to need and some of the basic supplies that you're going to need in order to be able to reload and reload efficiently. Now, I'm not going to show you guys in this video how to reload. I'm going to actually start a series on reloading. I've already got some videos up on, like, for instance, 223 reloading. I've got 2 videos up for that on all the steps for case preparation and also all the steps on the actual reloading. So I'm not going to be going over reloading in this video, but what I'd like to do is I have a lot of people asking me what my recipes are for my different loads. And so I think what I'll do is do a little video for each caliber that I reload and give you guys my recipe that I use. And you guys can adjust fire on it to whatever you're happy with, but at least you'll have kind of an idea of what I use, and it give you kind of a heads up, especially if you're new to reloading and you're going to be starting reloading based off of my videos. Then you can use my videos to find out what I use, so that it kind of gives you an idea of what to start off with. When I first started reloading, I was fortunate. I've got a friend, he's an older guy, and he's been reloading for years, and he pretty much taught me everything I know about reloading, and it was really good to have that mentor to keep me from screwing up, and teaching me what the different terminologies are, and why this is important, why that's important, why this ain't important, and things like that. It was really nice to have that. Well, in your case, if you don't have a mentor, somebody that you can go over to their house and they can teach you hands-on reloading, then my goal is to make these videos as hands-on like as I possibly can, so that you guys will kind of get a feeling that I'm there with you while you're reloading. So sit back, relax, and we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of Reloading 101, basic equipment and supplies that you're going to need. So like I said, if you're thinking about getting into reloading, this would be a good time to take notes. I'm going to give you some web addresses on where you can purchase a lot of this stuff at. And also I'm going to give you the names of the products that I use and the things that you're going to need in order to reload efficiently. Alright, so let's get started. Alright guys, so we're going to start with handgun reloading. We'll talk about some of the equipment that you're going to need for handgun reloading. Alright, and this is kind of an extravagant setup for a press. This is actually called a progressive press. And basically what that means is that you have one press and you've set all of the dies into the one press, and each time you pull the handle, it inserts a case, and then when it comes back down, it moves the case to the next station. Once it gets to the next station, then when you pull it up, it's going to do the exact same thing, set a primer, feed another case, and progress to the next station. That is what a progressive press does. It allows you to make more than one action on one handle pull. Alright? So you're definitely going to need a press. Now, whether you choose to get a progressive press like this, or you choose to get a what's called a single stage press like this, the choice is yours. The difference in that is going to be, this is about $30, and this one right here is about $200. Alright? And the $200 doesn't include all the dies and everything that goes with it. That's just the press itself. Okay, so you're definitely going to need a press, and there's other things in between there. They have what's called a single stage turret press, and basically what that is a single stage press, just like this one, except on top here it has a turret, and you can put all your dies in there, and you just spin the turret for what die you want. Alright, so it allows you to set up all of your dies and then not have to adjust them later. Alright, since we've been talking about dies, let's go ahead and talk about dies some more. Alright, for handgun reloading, usually it's 4 dies for a basically any type of handgun round. You have 4 dies. Alright, your first die is going to be your primer extractor die, and it's also a case resizer. Alright, so what it does is it straightens out any flaws in the brass, and the little tip right there knocks out the old primer. Alright, so you have that one. And then your second die is going to be a powder through die. Alright, and that's that one right there. And this one will also, not only does it allow you to, it's a hollow die, and so if you don't have a powder feed, you can actually just measure the powder and pour it through there into the case when it's in the upright position. But it's also a flaring die. Alright, it flares the tip of the case out so that the bullet will set in there. Alright, your next die is your bullet seating die, and this is adjustable so that you can adjust the depth of your bullet seat when you seat the new bullet into the die. And then your last die is going to be your crimp die. Your crimp die is also adjustable, and that allows you to set the amount of crimp that you actually want to put on the round. Less crimp is a little bit rougher to feed, but you can get more reloads out of it. More crimp, it feeds a little bit easier into your weapon, but you don't get as many reloads out of it. Something else with the press too is I'm actually gonna do a video on this particular press. This is the Lee Loadmaster Progressive Press, and what I'll do is I'm gonna do a little video called the Anatomy of the Lee Loadmaster, and basically we'll talk about everything from the grease fittings to the powder feed to the case feeder to the dies to the turret plate to the shell plate holder here at the bottom, the extractor pin. We'll talk about every part of the Lee Loadmaster, and if that's something that you're interested in, they're very reasonably priced. I'll go ahead and tell you, Lee Loadmasters are known for having problems with their primer feeder, alright, and their primer seater. So it's kind of a pain in the butt, but you know, you take the good with the bad. So anyway, that's the press, and like I said, you can go with a really nice press, or you can go with a single stage press, and you can do the same thing either way. If you want to start off with a single stage press to save some money, by all means do it. The only thing with the single stage press, you have to change the dies in between, but there's little tricks to making that more efficient for you. So the press is probably the biggest piece of equipment in handgun reloading. Another piece of equipment that you're going to need is a tumbler. Alright, this is a Frankfurt Arsenal case tumbler. This uses corncob media or walnut media or whatever type of media you want to use. Basically what you do is you take your brass that you just picked up off the range. It's all dirty and grody and got powder all over it. You throw it in the media here, and this is actually corncob media. It's made out of corn cobs. All right, and it's got a brass polishing treatment in it. And from there you just throw it in there, turn it on, and let it run for 2 or 3, 4 hours, however shiny you want your brass to be. That's how shiny you need to make it. Now this tumbler here actually came with the tumbler, one package of media, which actually lasts a really long time. You could probably reload 2,000 or 3,000 rounds with one package of media. And it also came with this little separator here in a little bucket. You basically just pour your brass and media and everything in this thing, close it up, spin it, and it sorts out the brass from the media. The media drops in the bucket, the brass stays in the container. You can pick up a set like that. It's kind of a cheaper value, more efficient, more affordable. For about 75 or 80 bucks, you can get that whole setup right there. Another tool that you're going to need is a caliper, set of calipers. All right, this is a Hornady digital caliper. I think I paid 25 bucks for it at a reloading shop. You can also get them on Midway USA. Very reasonably priced and pretty accurate. Not mil spec accurate, but accurate enough to reload ammo. Comes in a neat little hard case. Like I said, you're going to need a good set of calipers. All right. Another thing that you're going to need is a powder scale. This is a Hornady. It's a little battery operated electronic pocket scale. It's very accurate. This is the only scale I have, and I've been using it for a while now. Basically, there's your scale. You've got your little powder container here, and it also comes with a calibration weight. All right, this is going to run you about 25-30 bucks as well, and you can pick one of those up at reloading shops or Midway USA also. So that's pretty much it for handgun reloading on equipment. It really doesn't take a lot of equipment, and just to give you kind of an idea, you throw the brass in here, you polish it up, all right. And let's say you go with a single stage press. All right, so what are we at? We got the tumbler set up, about 75 bucks. We got a single stage press for about 30 bucks. So $105 there. And then a set of dies. Now, each caliber round that you reload, you're going to have a different set of dies for it. The dies in this right now are 40 Smith & Wesson. A good set of handgun dies are going to run you anywhere from $35 to $55 for the whole set. All right, so now we're looking at about $160. All right, and then of course you're going to need your caliper. Another 30 bucks for that. So what are we at? $195, and then a powder scale. Another 25-30 bucks. All right, so now we're a little bit over 200, and that's pretty much it. So you throw them in the tumbler, and then once you throw them in the tumbler, you run them through your dies, seat your bullet, or put the new primers in, powder charge, seat the bullets. Something else that you're going to need is a primer seater. All right, this is a hand priming tool. Now, if you go with a progressive press, most of the progressive presses have a primer seater built into them. But if you go with a single stage press, you'll have to manually seat all of your primers. Basically what you do is you just take and put your primers in this little tray here, and you put a piece of brass or a case on the top here, squeeze the handle, and it seats a primer in the bottom of it. All right, and then you go on through your reloading. So that's another $25-$30. That's kind of a cheap hand primer there. They make some really good ones for about $50, but that's it works just fine. I have no problems with it. So that's pretty much all the equipment that you're going to need to reload handgun rounds. Now we'll talk a little bit about the supplies that you're going to need. All right, it's basically pretty much three things. All right, you're going to need your powder. All right, there's different brands of powder out there. There's different types of brands. These are the three. I use all Alliant powders for my handgun reloading, and these are the three that I tend to use the most. Actually, Unique is the powder that I use the most, but I also use Power Pistol and Bullseye for certain rounds. But for the most part, Unique is pretty universal. You can use it on pretty much any handgun round, and it's going to work. All right. So you're going to need your powder. A pound of powder runs you about $15. All right, just to give you an idea. But you'll also get bukus and bukus of rounds out of 1 pound of powder. Just to give you an idea, if you're loading 9mm, a pound of powder will probably get you anywhere from 750 to 1,500 rounds at least. All right, so that's just kind of a wild ballpark guess. I've never actually figured it up, but just to give you an idea of how much you can actually get out of 1 container of powder. You're also going to need primers. All right, there's 2 brands that I use. I tend to use CCI more than anything. Don't ask me why. I think it's just because that's what the guy that taught me how to reload, he used them. So it kind of stuck with me. But I've also been using Winchester primers as well, and I've never had any issues out of either one of them. So either one of those will be fine. Just make sure that you get the right primers for what you're loading. All right, these are small pistol primers, and it's just for standard pistol loads. If you're reloading 357 Magnum or 45 or anything like that, then you're going to need large pistol primers. And if you're loading 357 Magnum, if you're loading anything Magnum, 44 Magnum, something like that, then you're going to need large pistol primers for Magnum loads. All right, so just a little bit of FYI there for you. And then the last thing you're going to need is your bullets. All right, now bullets come in all shapes, sizes, weights, calibers, colors, anything you can think of. This is actually a rifle round here, but I'm just going to show you a couple of rounds here that I have. These are actually for 40 Smith & Wesson right here. This is the Hornady XTP. It's 180 grain jacketed hollow point, and I use these I load up these just for stockpiling ammo for self-defense or home defense or whatever. I don't use these for target shooting. Usually what I use for target shooting for my 40 Smith & Wesson is I either make my own bullets, cast my own bullets out of lead, or I'll buy jacketed FMJs, full metal jackets. All right, and I'll shoot all 180 grain out of my 40 Smith & Wesson, and but I just wanted to show you guys, you can buy these bulk, buy these 100, 500, 250, whatever you want to get, but that's just a jacketed hollow point. This is actually a 45 ACP, 230 grain. This is a round nose, and this is made out of lead wheel weights. All right, this is one that I actually cast out of lead wheel weights, and I use that to reload 45 for target shooting. All right, so you're going to need bullets, you're going to need primers, and you're going to need powder, and that's basically it, guys. It's not a whole lot involved in pistol reloading. All right, so you can get started pretty cheap, a couple $100 for your equipment, and then maybe $100 for your supplies to get going, and you can load up 500, 600, 700 rounds. So that's pretty much handgun reloading. So let's go ahead and get into rifle reloading. Alright, so let's talk about some of the equipment that you'll need to reload rifle rounds. Alright, just like in the handgun rounds, you're pretty much going to need basically the same things with a few extra items. So you're going to need your press. Alright, you're going to need your dies for your whatever caliber rifle ammo that you're reloading. You're going to need your scale, you're going to need your calipers, your tumbler, and your supplies. But let's talk about a couple more things that you could use when you're reloading rifle rounds. Now, unlike pistol rounds, rifle rounds have to be sized and trimmed and shaped and formed and all kinds of stuff before you reload them. All right. So, and in case you're wondering, what I'm talking about, you can watch my case preparation video on 223, reloading 223, and you'll kind of understand the work that's involved in reloading rifle rounds. It's a lot more tedious and a lot more work that you have to do. Well, let me just grab a piece of brass here and I'll show you just a quick little thing on what I'm talking about. All right, so you've got this is just a standard 5.56 223 round, all right? And basically, I think this one was sized down, but it's got, when I did a QC on it, it's got a dent in it, so I decided not to reload it. But basically what you have to do with these is the same process. You throw them in a tumbler, tumble them up, and when you get them out, you have to knock the primer out of it, resize it. And just FYI on your primers, if you're using military type brass has a crimp ring inside of the primer pocket. So there's another tool that you have to remove that primer pocket. That's called a swaging tool. All right, so it's actually a set of dies, and it'll knock that primer right out of there for you. All right, but you also have to size it. Now what I use is I've actually got it's called a Lee zip trim. All right, and your case will just set right inside of the shell holder here. All right, and then you will use this sizing scale and trimmer, and what it does is it just goes right in there, and you push it all the way in until it bottoms out, and then this trimmer right here will actually trim off the brass that has expanded to get you down to the size, the length of the case that you need. All right. And this is where a caliper comes in handy. You got to have a caliper to kind of measure and make sure that you're setting right. All right, and then once you get that done, then you're going to chamfer the case using a chamfering tool. All right, so you ream out the inside of it, and then you chamfer the outside of it. All right, just like that. And so you're going to have a chamfer. When I'm reloading handgun rounds, I use my powder feed for the Lee Progressive Press. All right, I don't like this setup for rifle reloading, especially bigger calibers, because the discs that measure the powder that comes in or that goes out of this thing, they're just not big enough. Usually you have to run it 2 or 3 times to get enough powder in there. So what I like to use is this Hornady bench mounted powder measure, and basically this measures the amount of powder that you've got coming out of the nozzle on the bottom. And you pour your bulk powder in the powder hopper here, and then when you get the amount that you want on using your scale, then what you do is you just take and put your brass up under it there, pull the handle up, and it'll feed the powder down through the bottom, let it dwell, and then pull it out and push this back down, and it resets. All right, and then I'll just drop. This will hold 50 rounds here. So I'll just drop and do 50 rounds all at one time. And then once I've got them all charged with powder, then I'll go back to my progressive press, seat my bullet, and crimp it, and then it comes out the other side. All right, drops out the other side, and it's a completed round. So you may need a tray, a case tray. You're still going to need your primer, cedar. Still going to need your scale and your caliper and some other stuff, like I said, that you'll need is the chamfering tools and the trimmer. Just to there's different types of trimmers out there. There's different ways of trimming. That's just the way that I like to do it, and it seems to work really well for me. As far as supplies go, for reloading rifle, it's basically about the same as reloading pistol. You're going to need your primers. And I've got here some CCI primers for small rifle and large rifle calibers. We've got a couple of different bullets laid out here for you. I've got some standard copper jacketed lead tip 223 or 22 caliber bullets. All right, and those are for reloading 5.56 or 223 there. All right, and then I've also got some 30 caliber. This would be for your 308. I also use these to reload 7.62. Also for reloading, ammo from my Mosin Nagant. These are actually Hornady bullets, boat tails, with the little tip on them there, nylon tip. Really good rounds. Like I said, there's so many different variations in rounds that you can pretty much choose what you want to shoot. Powders, there's their Alliant powder again. This is Reloader 15. I use this for 223.
All right, accurate. That's also 223 powder. I picked that up on sale somewhere. That's the reason why I got it, and it was pretty good powder. I've got no complaints about that. And another big name brand is IMR. IMR is a very popular powder. A lot of reloaders use IMR, and that 3031 there is for 308 rounds. So, or 30 caliber rounds. A lot of the reloading powders, once you get into it and you start learning a little bit more about it, you'll notice that the number for this one, the 2230, all right, 223. So, it's kind of a giveaway. The 3031, 30 for 30 caliber rounds. It's kind of a giveaway for it. Now, I'm not saying that you can only use IMR 3031 for 308 rounds or 30 caliber bullets. You can use it for other stuff, but it's just kind of an idea of being in the right ballpark. All right.
Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for Reloading 101. That's just an idea of some of the basic equipment and supplies that you're going to need to get into reloading. Now, like we talked about, to start reloading handgun rounds, start out small. I don't recommend that you go out and buy the biggest, baddest, $1,000 progressive press that you can find if you're just starting out. If you're an avid competition handgun shooter and you burn through lots of rounds like I do during the summer, then get into it with something cheap. I started with my single stage press, and I still use that press to this day for different things, even after upgrading to the progressive press. So start out small with a small press. Like I said, $30 for the press. Start with one caliber and see how you like reloading. And then if you do, then start buying your other dies for other calibers and better presses and so on and so forth. Alright, but like I said, being able to reload, it's a neat skill for me. It keeps me self-reliant on, taking care of myself and my family. The price of ammo just keeps going up. It seems like the worse the government gets and the worse the economy gets, the more ammo costs. So as long as you've got a stock of bullets and brass and powder and primers, you can reload all you want. You can go out and shoot all day and come back in and reload it all back up and start all over again. So definitely it's a fun thing to get into. Like I said, this video wasn't to show you how to reload, just some of the equipment and supplies that you're going to need to get started. All right. So if you have any questions or comments, or you're new to reloading and you're thinking about getting into it, leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to click the like button, and I always appreciate your subscriptions. But like I said, guys, reloading is an art. It's an awesome hobby and skill set. Make sure, like I said, my advice to you is start out slow on the cheaper end and then work your way up, or otherwise you'll probably end up divorced. But anyway, guys, until next time, get out there, shoot some guns, be safe, and most importantly, have fun. See you guys later.